Best drinking games. I really like Don't Drink and Drive. Pour yourself a mixed drink or crack a beer with a few friends at the start of a Mario Kart race. N64 or Wii works best. The object is to win the race, but you can't cross the finish line until you finish your drink. The catch is, while you're drinking you must put down and not touch your controller. And while you race, you must not touch your beverage. So much fun at brunch with mimosas. Cell phone roulette. Simple and works best with good friends. Everyone puts their cell phones in the middle of the table, mix them up and grab a random phone. Look through the contact list and compose a text saying whatever you want to whomever you want. Then before sending the message, hand the phone back to its owner. The owner now has a choice. Send the message or take a shot. 7-Eleven doubles. Get you a group of friends, some beer, lots of beer, it goes quick, and 2 dice. You go around in a circle rolling the dice until someone rolls a 7, 11, or doubles. That person then selects the person who is to drink. A cup is filled usually about halfway with beer and set in front of the drinker. As soon as that person touches the glass, the roller begins rolling. The drinker needs to chug the beer before the roller rolls another 7, 11, or double. Should they succeed, the dice are passed again and the game continues. Should they fail, the glass is refilled and they have to do it again. Sometimes this leads to a person chugging 5 or more beers in a row, which is why there is the hero rule. At any point, any other player can hero the beer and chug it. However, should a 7, 11 or double be rolled, the onus is on the hero to chug again. Great game. Gets you blasted. AskReddit. Whoever wakes up the furthest away from the party wins. Usually requires one to become blackout drunk. Stump. Everyone gathers around a stump with a drink and a nail, along with one hammer. Everyone places a nail in the stump. You pass the hammer around the group. The goal is to hammer everyone else's nail all the way down. If you hit someone's nail, they drink. If you miss, you drink. Once a nail is all the way down, the nail's owner must finish their drink. If you hurt or otherwise injure yourself, you drink. Repeat. You forgot that you don't just hit the nail with the hammer. You hold the hammer, and in one motion throw it up so it flips. Think like a juggling club, in the air. Catch it, and without cocking, hit the nail. Mustache. Put 1 or 2 black pieces of tape horizontally on the TV. Watch Always Sunny. Drink when the tape lines up on someone's face to make a mustache. Addendum. Don't stop drinking until the face and the mustache unalign. The best drinking game you can play is called Vietnam. 2 teams of 3 people on each side of a double-wide beer pong table. The US side sets up a single 10-cup triangle with refill beers nearby. The Vietnam team sets up 10 randomly placed cups on their end of the table. Each side fills up their cups with 3 beers and the US starts with the 3 ping pong balls. When the US side makes a cup, the Vietnam team pulls the cup, drinks it, and places it to the side. When the Vietnam team sinks one of the 10 US cups, the US team has to drink it, refill it, and put it back. The game ends when all the Vietnam cups are hit or when the US team gives up. One time I made 3 guys drink a full case of Natty Light before they gave up as US. The only time I've won as Vietnam. I played this. One thing that we added was the Tet offensive. Once all the Vietnam cups were hit, the Vietnam team got to go on the attack for 2 minutes. As soon as they shot they got the balls back and got to keep going. It usually worked best if someone was working the light switch up and down while all this was happening. Landmines. You'll need 2 shot glasses, about a 30 rack of beer in cans, a quarter, a table for everyone to sit around. Starts with 1 person and goes around the table one by one. When it is your turn you fill up the 2 shot glasses with beer, spin the quarter and while it is spinning you must take both shots of beer and pick up the quarter before it falls flat with the same hand. If you fail to do this you must keep trying until successful. If someone has an empty beer can they can place it on top of the quarter stopping its spin from any time. The can now stays there for the rest of the game. Baseball. 2 teams of 3 on either side of a ping pong table. Each team has a line of 4 cups in front of them representing a single, double, triple, and home run. Home run is in the back of the line. You distribute beer in the cups so that home run has the most and then decreasing amounts in the others. Teams trade off batting. You shoot for the line and if you sink a cup, the other team drinks that cup and all preceding cups. If you miss the cups completely it's an out, and if you hit the rim it's a strike. If you hit the rim and a player of the other team catches the ball before it hits anything else it's an out. If you hit a single, double, or triple you move to a base. There are 3 cups on each long side of the table and what you do is you move to a base and whenever you want you can start drinking your base cup. A player of the other team is set up opposite you and when they see you go they chug and try to beat you in a flip cup race. If the offense player wins, moves a base. If the defense player wins, it's an out. The only time you can't start drinking is when the other team's 4 main cups aren't full. Slap cup equals beer. Beer everywhere. 15 plus cups in the center of the table, all with a small amount of beer except for one that's full. You have 2 empty cups and 2 pong balls. Object is to bounce the ball off the table into your cup. If you get it in on the first bounce, you can pass your cup to anyone, who then has to bounce it in. Second try or later, you pass left. If you make it in before the person directly to your left does, you slap their cup off the motherfucking table as hard as you can. They grab one of the cups from the center, drink the beer, and then keep trying to bounce the ball in. You can frick people over if they have a cup by passing it to the person right next to them if you make it in first try. Last person who gets their cup slapped off the table chugs the B cup. I can't remember the name but my favorite doesn't need any props. It involves sitting in a circle and counting off to 21. The only hard set rule is that 7 and 14 are switched. So when the group counts off it goes 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 14, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 7, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21. Once the group successfully gets to 21, everyone takes a drink and then the person that said 21 picks a number that doesn't have a rule and makes a rule. It can be anything. If somebody messes up when it's their turn, then they drink and the next person starts the count again. The game over when every number has a rule and the group makes it through. It starts fast and seems simple but people overestimate their cognitive abilities when sober. So crap gets real pretty quick. But some of my favorite rules to make up are: instead of saying a number you look at the person to your right and say the name of the person to your left. For a number, you can use any rule that was made before this one. If you do a rule for this number that was made up after this rule, it counts as a frick up. If somebody makes a rule that involves saying a name and the next number is free, I'll grab the next number and make it something along the lines of saying, "in my butt" instead. In California we call that cheers. Governor, you shouted when you hit 21. Chardy McDennis. Best if you nail down the game board. Frick the dealer. A dealer is selected randomly. He looks at the top card and asks the person to his left what they think the card is. If they get it right, the dealer must finish his/hers drink. If they get it wrong, the dealer must inform the person if the card is higher or lower than that person's guess. The person must then guess again. If they are then right then the dealer must drink half of his/hers drink. If the person that guesses is wrong then they must drink an equal amount of fingers to how numerically wrong they are. For example, they guess an 8 but it turns out to be a 10. They drink 2 fingers. The card is then placed on the table and the game continues. It is crucial that the cards are on the table so card counting can take place. If 3 people in a row fail to guess the correct card first or second time, then the dealer hands the deck to the person to the left of them and the game continues. The closer to the end of the deck you get, the more likely the death of the current dealer becomes. Slight variation on this: if the person guesses the dealer's card on their first try, then the dealer drinks for 10 seconds. If they guess on their second try, they drink for 5. If the person doesn't get right on both guesses, they drink for the amount of seconds the difference is. So in your example, they drink for 2 seconds. Battleshots. It's like Battleship, but each space of a ship is a shot glass. You get the idea. Note, if you have an amicable relationship with your liver, do not play Battleshots. With the movie Labyrinth. Drink every time. 1. Jennifer Connelly complains. 2. David Bowie tosses a dwarf. 3. Most important one. Anytime you see Bowie's wiener, which I call Bowina, you are drunk within 5 minutes. I love this one. Put on a random Japanese, Chinese gore horror, really any type of movie, then drink every time what the frick is uttered in the room. You will get drunk. Drinking Jenga. Anchorman, it's been years but always a favorite. You start off with 2 teams of ideally 3 or 4. You need a pitcher of beer and 5 quarters if you have 3 players on a team and 7 quarters if there are 4 players on a team. The point of the game is to bounce 3 or 4 quarters into the pitcher. The team that bounces the quarters into the pitcher first gets to pick an anchorman on the losing team. The whole losing team has to empty the pitcher. You can keep going until you take your lips off the pitcher, then it goes to the next person. Finally, it gets to the anchorman and he has to finish it. One that's very popular in New Zealand is called possum. In New Zealand, possums are a pest that distinctively hide in trees. So the objective is to go hop in a tree with all your beers, usually a 12 pack, and you have to stay in there unit till you're finished. Titanic. You place an empty shot glass in a pint of beer. Everyone takes turns filling the shot glass with their liquor of choice. Person who sinks the shot glass drinks the whole thing. We Irish play a drinking game called drinking. Last one standing has to drive. Edward 40 hands. You duct tape 2 bottles of malt liquor to some joker's hands. You can't have them taken off till he drinks both. Maybe this is a sign that we drink too dang much, but my friends and I do this as a social event. We all tape 40s to our hands. No one can take them off until they are done. If you need to pee, get help for your zipper. We call this one Roxanne. Split into 2 teams. Play the song Roxanne by The Police. Team 1 drinks whenever you hear Roxanne. Team 2 drinks whenever you hear Red Light. The outro is a B. Repeat. We've done this while simultaneously playing the song on Rock Band. The guy who owns the equipment informed us we're not allowed to do that anymore. Butthole, but you have hats that signify the president, vice president and so on. The butthole has to wear on 12 pack cardboard beer hat for his reign. Presidents and buttholes. President can tell everybody lower than him to drink. Vice tells everybody to drink and so on. Butthole shuffles and can tell anybody to drink only during shuffling. I have 2 favorites as well. The first being chandeliers. You get however many people you want to play and each person has a red cup plus an extra cup that goes in the middle. Everyone fills up their cup with as much as they want to drink and the middle cup is something that the group agrees on to drink. You basically just take a ping pong ball and bounce it into someone's cup and if you make it they drink. But if you make it in the middle cup everyone drinks and the last person done drinks the middle cup too. The second one is Galactica. I think that's right. And basically it's King's Cup but instead of normal rules whenever you flip a card it becomes a totally different game. A 2 instead of being you would be a game of beer pong. A 3 would be Frick the Dealer. A 4 would be chandeliers and so on. Both excellent for getting real weird. God damn it, I was going to put chandelier on here. But when I play it after someone makes the middle cup you gotta flip the cup, and the last person to flip the cup has to drink the middle cup. Either way the possibility to get obliterated is there. The dude game. While watching The Big Lebowski, you have to take a sip of White Russian every time the word dude is used in the movie. I've seen The Big Lebowski 20 times and I don't know what happens after they find the pinky toe. Slap the bag. So simple, so rewarding. A buddy and I were bored at a friend of my wife's house. We made a drinking game called Fire Hazard. Whenever one person spotted a fire hazard throughout the night the other one had to shotgun a beer. Keep in mind this wasn't a crazy drunk drinking party. It was just me and him playing. And we didn't tell anyone what we were doing. From what the other guests saw, was me saying, boxes blocking the back door, and then my buddy shotguns a beer. Yeah, we're boring people. I don't know, you guys seem pretty awesome. I like to order Long Island iced teas and pay the bartender with my debit card. I try to drink the Long Island iced tea before he or she gets back with my card. My friends and I invented a game called This Is a Bad Idea. You need a bottle of Jaeger, or whatever bottle of booze you prefer, and a few friends. Everyone sits in a circle and the first person opens the bottle. This person then professes why playing this game is a bad idea and takes a deep chug. The bottle is passed to the left and the next person follows the same pattern. If someone uses a reason that has already been used, he or she drinks and has to try again. If someone's reason isn't very good, the person drinks and has to try again. Also, people have only a few seconds to make up a reason or they must drink and try again. When the bottle is near empty, a person can choose to finish the bottle by screaming "This is a great idea." The person has to fully finish the bottle and the game ends in a drunken bout of happiness. This game goes by very fast and was perfect for pre-gaming if you had a large enough group. It was also perfect way to end up in the year if you didn't have enough people. My friends and I invented a game called This Is a Bad Idea. You need a bottle of Jaeger. That is all you need for a drinking game called This Is a Bad Idea. We play a game called See It's 2v2 and a mixture of beer pong and flip cup. You line up opposite of your partner on the table, each with row of 4 cups. Once the game starts, you just throw at your team's cups racing against the other team. Each time your partner hits a cup on your side, you chug it and have to flip cup it before you can start shooting back at their side. A simple race to the finish. Simple game, quick game, gets you crazy drunk. It's a toss-up between Power Hour and Circle of Death for me. For Power Hour, you take a shot of beer every minute for an hour. Pretty simple, right? Well, it gets you hammered and can be synced to music. 7 beers in 1 hour equals a good time. Circle of Death is more of a social game played almost everywhere. All you need is a deck of cards and some drinks. Spread the cards out in a circle and draw a card. These are the rules I play by. 2 you, 3 me, 4 floor, 5 guys, 6 chicks, 7 heaven, 8 pick a mate, 9 but a rhyme, 10 categories, Jack never have I ever, Queen questions, King make a rule, Ace waterfall. Circle of Death equals kings. Drink until you can't no longer feel the crippling emotional pain. Repeat. Hopefully this doesn't get buried, because I doubt many people have ever tried this. We call it the room game. The basic idea started with one of my housemates talking about drinking in his room before a party. This quickly evolved into everyone going into separate rooms and seeing how drunk they could get in an hour. This slowly became the game it is now. Basically, you take an amount of people and either 1/2 or 1/3 RD as many rooms. You write names out and pick out people combinations along with what room they get to go in. You end up with odd pairs and triplets of people going into forced socialization lubricated by copious drinking for an hour of bliss. Best friends formed and reinforced. Rooms messed with. Games created and played ad nauseum, and the fantastic meeting of all the drunk fricks in other rooms as soon as the hour finishes. Instant party after. Continue as you'd like with every other game in this thread. Presidents and buttholes. To start the game, deal out all of the cards equally to each player. The person with the 4 of clubs starts. After that, play goes in whichever direction the first player decides. Must beat the card before you. Trump cards are 2s, clear, and 3s, reverse. Aces are high, doubles beat singles, triples beat doubles. If there are 3 cards, for example, 5s, and you have the 4th, you can play out of turn. It clears. It's a social. Here's where it gets fun. First out is the president, second the VP, act. Last out is the butthole. Make them wear some ridiculous butthole hat. Make them drink whenever you want, act. Fingers. You fill up a cup with however much beer that you want the loser to drink. Everyone puts 1 finger on the cup. You go around calling out a number from 0 to however many people there are. When someone calls out a number, you have the option of either keeping your finger on the cup or pulling it off. If the number that was called out is the number of fingers left on the cup, the person who called the number is out. Last person left loses and finishes the beer. Beer Dies by far my favorite game. We play with a very complex set of rules and a specifically designed table. I love it because it involves playing a lot of defense and is much more skill intensive than almost any other drinking game I have played. I can go into more detail if anyone is interested. Beer Die isn't a drinking game, but rather a sport which pits fantastic gladiators against one another. Planet Earth. Watch an episode of Planet Earth. Drink every time a new species or geographical location is introduced and every time something dies. It's educational and you get freaking hammered. This mouse is looking for friends in the comments. Comment mouse boy to befriend him. If you are new to the channel, you can subscribe. I publish new videos every day. Until then, check another video, or don't. Either way, have a great day you magnificent people.